I thought a selfie with my ex wasn't a big deal. Now I'm alone and blocked everywhere. April 12th, 2024. I'm standing on the rooftop deck of Archer's, this trendy downtown bar with string lights and potted olive trees everywhere, clutching my third glass of rosé. The sun is setting, casting this perfect golden light across everyone's faces, and I can see Derek across the crowd, talking to his coworker Amit. Oh my God, Melissa, is that who I think it is? I nudge my friend beside me, nearly spilling my drink as I spot a familiar face at the bar. Where? Melissa squints through her glasses, following my gaze. By the bar. It's Ethan. I shout, feeling my pulse quicken embarrassingly fast. I think, holy shit, he looks even better than before. How is that fair? Ethan, my ex from 3 years ago, is leaning against the bar in a navy button-down that makes his shoulders look ridiculous. I dated him for almost 2 years before we split because he took a job in Seattle. Should I go say hi? I ask Melissa, but I'm already smoothing my hair and adjusting my top. I don't know, Audrey. Is that a good idea with Brandon here? Melissa gives me that look, the one where her eyebrows do most of the talking. I roll my eyes dramatically. Oh, please. It's just saying hello to an old friend. Brandon's not that insecure. But as I say this, I glance over at my husband of 4 years, who's now watching me with a cautious expression from across the deck. I give him a quick wave and a smile, which he returns half-heartedly before turning back to his conversation. I think, why does he always have to look so worried? It's like he's afraid I'll somehow evaporate if he stops monitoring me for 2 seconds. I'm just going to say hi, I tell Melissa, already moving through the crowd before she can respond. As I approach Ethan, I feel this electric buzz under my skin. He spots me, and his face lights up with recognition. Audrey Campbell, he exclaims, pulling me into a hug that lasts 2 beats longer than it should. You look amazing, I laugh, feeling that familiar flutter in my stomach. It's Audrey Wilson now, actually, and you don't look so bad yourself. Seattle's been good to you. Married, huh? His eyes flick to my ring. Lucky guy. We fall into conversation like no time has passed. I learn he's back in town permanently, taking over his family's business. He's single again after breaking up with someone 6 months ago. All the while, I'm acutely aware of how easy it is to talk to him, how he laughs at all my jokes, how his eyes never leave mine. 3 drinks later, I'm showing him pictures of my trip to Portugal last year when he leans in close. We should take a selfie, he suggests, for old time's sake. I don't hesitate. I lean in, my head against his shoulder, his arm around my waist, both of us grinning like we share a secret. The flash goes off twice. Tag me when you post it, he says, giving me his new Instagram handle. I'm about to reply when I feel a presence beside us. Brandon stands there, his expression carefully neutral, but I can see the tension in his jaw. Hey, I say brightly. Brandon, this is Ethan. We used to date way back when. Ethan, this is my husband. Brandon extends his hand stiffly. Nice to meet you. Ethan shakes it, completely unfazed. Likewise, man, you've got yourself a firecracker here. I'm well aware, Brandon says, his voice flat. He turns to me. We should probably head out, early day tomorrow. I sigh loudly, not bothering to hide my annoyance. It's barely 10, Brandon. The night's just getting started. You can stay if you want, he says quietly. I'll grab an Uber. I think, why does he always have to do this? Make me choose between having fun and keeping him happy? Don't be ridiculous, I say, forcing a laugh for Ethan's benefit. We'll both stay. Brandon just needs another drink to loosen up. Brandon's face closes off completely. I'm heading home. Text me when you're on your way. He walks away without another word. Ethan raises his eyebrows. Trouble in paradise? I wave my hand dismissively. He gets like this sometimes. Too serious for his own good. I lift my glass. Now, where were we? The next morning, I'm sprawled across our bed, my head pounding from too much wine. Sunlight streams through the blinds we never fully close, and I can hear Brandon moving around in the bathroom. I grab my phone from the nightstand and scroll through my notifications. There's a new tag from Ethan, the selfie from last night with the caption, "Reunited with this beauty after 3 years. Some people just get better with time. Hashed old flames, good memories." I smile, liking the post and adding a heart emoji comment without thinking twice. The bathroom door opens and Brandon emerges fully dressed, his hair still damp from the shower. He doesn't look at me as he moves to the closet. "Morning," I mumble, setting my phone down. How mad are you about last night? Scale of 1 to 10. Brandon pauses, his back to me. I'm not mad, Audrey. Your face says otherwise, I reply, sitting up and immediately regretting it as my head spins. Look, it was just catching up with an old friend. An old boyfriend, he corrects, finally turning to face me. His eyes are tired, like he hasn't slept. Who you were hanging all over and taking cozy selfies with. I roll my eyes, wincing at the pain it causes. Oh my God, it was literally just a picture. It's never just a picture with you, he says quietly. It's never just anything. It's always pushing boundaries to see what you can get away with. I feel anger flare hot in my chest. What is that supposed to mean? You think I was trying to cheat on you or something? In front of all our friends? I think you liked the attention, he says, his voice still frustratingly calm. I think you liked making me uncomfortable, like you always do when we're out with other people. That's ridiculous. I snap, throwing the covers off and standing up too quickly. Just because you're boring at parties doesn't mean I have to be. As soon as the words leave my mouth, I see something shift in Brandon's eyes. Something final. I'm headed to my parents' farm for the day, he says, grabbing his jacket. They need help fixing the fence in the south pasture. Fine, I mutter, walking past him to the bathroom. Go play farmer. We can talk when you're not being so sensitive. I slam the bathroom door, leaning against it and closing my eyes. I think, why does he always have to make such a big deal out of nothing? It was just a stupid selfie. Later that afternoon, I'm sitting at Magnolia Coffee on the patio, sunglasses covering my still sensitive eyes, scrolling through Instagram. Ethan's post has racked up comments, many from mutual friends expressing surprise at our reunion. I'm absently reading them when a message from him pops up. Lunch tomorrow? For real, catching up this time. I hesitate for only a second before typing back. Sure. The new Thai place on Evergreen at 1? He responds with a thumbs up and a wink. I feel a small thrill, followed by a twinge of something I push away. My phone buzzes with a text from Melissa. How's things with B after last night? I sigh and type back. He's being dramatic. Went to his parents to fix a fence, aka complain about me, I'm sure. Melissa replies quickly. That selfie with Ethan was a bit much, eh? I could see Brandon's face when he saw you two. I stare at her text, feeling defensive. It was just a picture. Everyone's acting like I made out with the guy. You know it wasn't just the picture. She responds. It was how you were with him all night, and now he's tagged you in it calling you a beauty and old flames. If Brandon did that with an ex, you'd lose your mind. That's different. I type back automatically. How? How? Comes her reply. I don't answer, putting my phone down and taking a long sip of my iced coffee. Around me, couples and families enjoy the spring afternoon, laughing and talking. I think nobody else overthinks everything like this. It's exhausting. When I get home, the house is still empty. It's nearly 6 p.m., and Brandon hasn't called or texted. Annoyed, I send him a message. Are you coming home for dinner, or should I just make something for myself? 20 minutes pass with no response. I call his phone, but it goes straight to voicemail. Real mature Brandon, I mutter to the empty living room. At 8:30, I hear his key in the lock. I'm curled up on the couch, pretending to be engrossed in a show I'm not actually watching. He walks in looking tired, his clothes dusty from the farm. Hey, I say, keeping my tone neutral. How was fence fixing? Fine, he replies, setting his keys in the bowl by the door. He doesn't move toward me or sit down. Are you hungry? I can heat up some pasta I made. I ate with my parents, he says. Then he takes a deep breath. We need to talk, Audrey. Something in his voice makes me sit up straighter. Okay. Brandon sits in the armchair across from me, not on the couch beside me like he normally would. I've been thinking about us a lot today. About patterns we've fallen into. I feel a flash of irritation. Is this still about the selfie? It's not about the selfie, he interrupts, which is unusual for him. It's about what the selfie represents. It's about how you treat me, how you talk about me to others, how you make me feel. And how do I make you feel? I ask, a challenging edge to my voice. Like I'm disposable, he says simply. Like I'm an inconvenience to you. Like you're always looking for something better. That's not fair, I protest, my heart starting to pound. Just because I was talking to an ex. Last night, before I left, he continues as if I hadn't spoken, I overheard you telling Ethan that I'm too serious for my own good. 3 weeks ago, at Ryan and Kate's dinner party, you told everyone I was socially awkward when I didn't want to play that drinking game. Last month, you told your sister on the phone that being married to me was like having a reliable appliance. I feel my face flush hot. You were eavesdropping on my call with Simone? I wasn't eavesdropping, Audrey. You were talking loudly on the patio while I was gardening right below you. I crossed my arms. Those were just jokes. You're taking everything so personally. That's the thing, he says, looking at me directly now. They're not jokes to me. They're small cuts, over and over. And last night wasn't the first time you've humiliated me in front of our friends, but I've decided it needs to be the last. A cold feeling washes over me. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm going to stay with my parents for a while. I need some space to think about whether this marriage is still working for me. I stare at him, shocked. You're leaving because of a stupid selfie and some jokes? No, he says, standing up. I'm leaving because I deserve respect, and I'm not getting it from you. I have been for nearly 5 years now. Before I can respond, he walks to the door and picks up a duffel bag I hadn't noticed before. He must have packed it and left it in his truck. Brandon, wait, I say, finally realizing he's serious. This is crazy. We can talk about this. We've talked many times, Audrey. Nothing changes. He pauses at the door. I've already called my parents. They're expecting me. And then he's gone, the door clicking shut quietly behind him. May 3rd, 2024. I'm pacing in our backyard, kicking at the edge of the garden Brandon meticulously planted last fall. 3 weeks have passed since he left, and the silence between us has grown from uncomfortable to alarming. Come on, pick up. I mutter as his phone rings for the 4th time today. Once again, it goes to voicemail. I think, this has gone on long enough. He's made his point. After the beep, I say, Brandon, this is getting ridiculous. It's been 3 weeks. Are you seriously still upset about a selfie? Call me back so we can sort this out like adults. I hang up and drop onto the patio chair, staring at the small pond he built last summer. The water lilies he planted are starting to bloom, pink and perfect. My phone pings with a notification. Ethan has tagged me in another photo, this one from our lunch last week. We've met up 3 times since that night at Archer's, just as friends catching up, I tell myself. Though the way he looks at me makes it clear he'd be open to more. I check the image. Ethan and me at a wine bar, clinking glasses, my smile wide and carefree. The caption reads, Reconnecting with this one has been the highlight of my return to town, worth the wait. I like it without thinking, then immediately wonder if Brandon will see it. Not that he's checking my social media, he hasn't even opened my Instagram story in weeks. This is so stupid, I say aloud to the empty yard. I text Melissa. B still isn't talking to me. Think I should go to his parents' place? Her response comes a few minutes later. Maybe give him the space he asked for? Have you tried actually apologizing instead of demanding he get over it? I frown at my phone. What do I have to apologize for exactly? Taking a picture? Having lunch with an old friend? Melissa's typing bubble appears and disappears several times before her message comes through. Audrey, I love you, but you know it's more than that. Every time we hang out, you make little digs at Brandon. You act like he's holding you back. It's uncomfortable for everyone. And now you're hanging out with your ex while your husband is MIA? Her words sting more than I expect. I'm not doing anything wrong. Brandon's the one who walked out. Maybe call Simone? Melissa suggests, clearly trying to be diplomatic. She might have better advice. I toss my phone aside, irritated that even my best friend seems to be taking Brandon's side. Fine, I'll call my sister. Simone has always been straight with me, sometimes brutally so. 20 minutes later, I'm sitting on the front porch steps, listening to Simone's unfiltered assessment of the situation. You really messed up this time, Aud, she says after I fill her in. Brandon is like the nicest guy you've ever dated, and you treat him like he's an embarrassing sidekick instead of your husband. That's not true, I protest, watching a neighbor walk his golden retriever across the street. I love Brandon. Loving someone and respecting them are different things, Simone points out. And from what you've told me, you haven't been showing him much respect. Plus, now you're hanging out with your ex? How do you think that looks? Ethan and I are just friends, I insist. It's not like anything is happening. Would you be okay with Brandon having lunch dates with his ex while ignoring your calls? Simone asks. I don't answer immediately. The truth is, I'd be furious. Look, Simone continues, her voice softening. Everyone knows you married Brandon on the rebound after Ethan moved away. I've never said anything because Brandon is a great guy, and I thought maybe you'd grow to appreciate him. But if you're still hung up on Ethan after all this time, maybe it's better to let Brandon find someone who will value him. Her words hit me like a physical blow. That's not fair. I wasn't on the rebound. Weren't you, though? You started dating Brandon 3 months after Ethan left. You were still crying over Ethan when you met him. I think back to those early days with Brandon, how kind and steady he'd been, how patient with my lingering heartbreak. How he'd never pushed, never demanded, just quietly offered his support until, almost without realizing it, I'd fallen for his gentle constancy. I love Brandon, I repeat, but it sounds hollow even to my ears. Then act like it, Simone says bluntly. Stop hanging out with your ex, make a real apology, and hope it's not too late. After we hang up, I sit on the porch for a long time, watching the street grow dark as evening falls. My phone buzzes with a text from Ethan. Drinks tomorrow? That new speakeasy on 7th looks amazing. I stare at the message, Simone's words echoing in my head. With a sigh, I type, I need to take a rain check. Going through some stuff right now. His response is quick. Everything okay? Want to talk about it? I close the message without replying and open my contacts instead. I scroll to Brandon's name and hit call, holding my breath. After 4 rings, I expect voicemail again, but to my surprise, he answers. Hello. His voice sounds distant, formal. Brandon, I say, suddenly unsure what to say. You picked up. I did. A pause. What do you need, Audrey? The coldness in his tone throws me. I was hoping we could talk, in person. Maybe I could come over to your parents tomorrow? Another long pause. I'm not staying at my parents' anymore. I'm at Nate's. Nate is his college roommate who lives in a luxury apartment downtown. Oh, I say, surprised. Since when? About 2 weeks now. 2 weeks and he didn't tell me. Okay, well, can we meet somewhere then? Coffee or dinner or whatever works for you. I don't think that's a good idea right now, he says. Brandon, please, I say, hearing the desperation in my voice. It's been almost a month. We need to talk about this. He sighs heavily. Fine. Meet me at Riverside Park tomorrow at noon, by the big oak. I'll be there, I promise, relief washing over me. Thank you. Goodbye, Audrey, he says, and hangs up before I can say anything else. The next day, I'm at Riverside Park, 20 minutes early, sitting on a bench near the massive oak tree where we had our second date 5 years ago. I've dressed carefully in the green sundress Brandon always liked, my hair loose the way he prefers. I think this has gone far enough. We'll talk, I'll apologize, and we can go back to normal. At exactly noon, I spot him walking along the path. He looks good. Better than good, actually. He's gotten a haircut, and he's wearing a blue button-down I haven't seen before. There's something different about him, a confidence in his posture that catches me off guard. He sits beside me on the bench, leaving space between us. Hi, Audrey. Hi, I say, suddenly nervous. You look good. Thanks. He doesn't return the compliment. You wanted to talk? I take a deep breath. Yes, I wanted to say I'm sorry for the selfie with Ethan, for the things I said. You were right, I was disrespectful, and you didn't deserve that. He nods slightly, his expression unreadable. Thank you for saying that. So, I venture, when are you coming home? Brandon looks out at the river. I'm not. The words don't register at first. What do you mean? I apologized. I won't see Ethan again. I get it now. This isn't just about Ethan, he says quietly. It's about us, about who we've become together. He turns to look at me. Audrey, I've been unhappy for a long time. That night at Archer's just made me finally admit it to myself. Unhappy? I repeat, stunned. But we have a good life, a beautiful house, friends, plans for the future. A house you complained was too small, friends you constantly try to impress at my expense, plans you make without consulting me. He shakes his head. I kept telling myself it would get better, that you'd eventually see me. Really see me. But you never did. That's not true, I protest, feeling panic rise in my chest. I see you. I love you. You love the idea of me. he corrects gently. The steady guy who pays the bills and doesn't complain when you flirt with other men or make fun of him in public. The reliable backup plan. Brandon, I filed for divorce last week, he says, the words falling like stones between us. My lawyer will be contacting you. I stare at him, speechless. This can't be happening. Not over something so small, so fixable. Divorce? I finally manage. You're ending our marriage over a selfie? A look of tired resignation crosses his face. See? You still don't get it. It was never about the selfie, Audrey. It was about what the selfie represented. Your fundamental lack of respect for me and our marriage. But I apologized. I cry, aware that people nearby are starting to look our way. I said I was sorry, and I accept your apology, he says calmly. But that doesn't change my decision. I deserve to be with someone who values me, who builds me up instead of tearing me down, and frankly, so do you. Hot tears spill down my cheeks. Please don't do this. We can go to counseling. I can change. For a moment, sympathy flickers in his eyes. Then he stands up. I need to go. Take care of yourself, Audrey. He walks away, and this time I don't call after him. I sit on the bench for hours, watching families and couples enjoy the sunny day, wondering how my life imploded so completely over what seemed like nothing at all. June 17, 2024. I'm standing in front of Courtroom B at the county courthouse, my hands shaking as I smooth down the black dress I bought for this occasion. The hallway is busy with people rushing past, none of them aware that my world is ending behind those heavy wooden doors. I think, this can't really be happening. Marriages don't end over selfies and jokes. But as I push open the door and step inside, the reality crashes over me. Brandon is already there, sitting beside his lawyer at one table. He doesn't look up when I enter. The proceedings are surreal, clinical, nothing like the passionate drama I'd imagined a divorce would be. No shouting, no tears, just calm voices discussing the division of assets, the selling of our house, the disentangling of 4 years of shared life. Through it all, Brandon remains composed, answering questions in that steady voice that used to comfort me and now feels like a stranger's. When the judge asks if there's any chance of reconciliation, he says simply, "No, Your Honor," without hesitation. I say nothing, numb with the finality of it all. After, in the hallway, his lawyer steps away to take a call, leaving us momentarily alone. So that's it, I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. 4 years, just gone? Brandon finally looks at me, really looks at me, for the first time in months. It was over long before today, Audrey, you just didn't notice. Will you at least tell me why? I ask, desperate to understand. The real reason, not just the selfie or the jokes. He sighs, running a hand through his hair. Because loving you became painful. Every day, I felt like I was auditioning for the role of your husband, and every day, I was failing. Do you know what it's like to constantly feel like you're not enough for the person you love most in the world? I want to deny it, to tell him he's wrong, but the words stick in my throat. I hope you find what you're looking for, he says quietly. Then his lawyer returns, and they walk away together. I stand frozen in the hallway, watching his retreating back, paralyzed by the truth in his words. July 3rd, 2024. I'm slouched at a table on the outdoor patio of the Vineyard, a wine bar downtown, nursing my second glass of Merlot. Across from me, Melissa picks at a cheese plate, her expression concerned. Have you found a new place yet? She asks, breaking the uncomfortable silence between us. I shake my head. I'm staying with Simone until the house sells. Brandon's lawyer is handling all that. Have you talked to him at all, since the courthouse? No, I admit, taking another sip of wine. He's blocked me everywhere, phone, email, social media, like I'm toxic or something. Melissa hesitates, then says carefully, maybe he needs a clean break to move on. It's just so extreme, I complain. We were married for 4 years, and now he acts like I don't exist. How's the job search going? She asks, clearly changing the subject. I grimace. Not great. Turns out, part-time social media manager doesn't impress many employers. Brandon always said I should have. I stop myself, the familiar pain welling up. Should have what? Taken that marketing director position last year, I finish quietly. The one I turned down because the hours would have cut into my me time. I laugh bitterly. Now I have nothing but me time. Melissa reaches across the table to squeeze my hand. You'll figure it out, eh? You always do. I nod, not trusting myself to speak. The truth is, I'm drowning. Without Brandon's income, without his steady presence, without his quiet support that I took for granted, I feel adrift. Have you heard from Ethan lately? Melissa asks, her tone deliberately casual. I scoff. No. Once he realized I wasn't going to sleep with him, he lost interest pretty quick. His last text was weeks ago. I'm sorry, she says, looking genuinely sympathetic. Don't be, I reply, surprising myself with the vehemence in my voice. He was never serious about me. Not 3 years ago and not now. I just couldn't see it because... I trail off, the realization hitting me hard. Because, Melissa prompts. Because I was too busy comparing everyone to some idealized version of him I created in my head, I finish quietly. Even Brandon. We sit in silence for a moment, the weight of my words hanging between us. Around us, people laugh and talk, enjoying the warm summer evening. I saw Brandon yesterday, Melissa says suddenly, at Cooper's fitness center. My head snaps up. You did? How is he? She hesitates, and I can tell she's choosing her words carefully. He looked good. He's lost weight, got a tan. He was with a woman. The words land like a physical blow. A woman? Pooh. I don't know her, Melissa admits. Tall, dark hair. They were laughing a lot. I feel sick suddenly, the wine turning sour in my stomach. Are they dating? I don't know, Audrey. I didn't talk to them, she sighs. But they looked happy. Happy. The word echoes in my head. When was the last time Brandon and I had been truly happy together? I struggle to remember. I should get going, I say abruptly, reaching for my purse. Simone's expecting me for dinner. Audrey, Melissa says, her voice gentle but firm. You need to let him go, for both your sakes. I nod, unable to meet her eyes. I know. But as I walk to my car, I'm already pulling out my phone, scrolling to Instagram. Brandon has been private since the separation, but I can still see his profile picture. New, I notice with a pang, a shot of him hiking on some mountain I don't recognize. On impulse, I type Ethan's name in the search bar. His profile loads, and the first image nearly makes me drop my phone. Ethan with his arm around a pretty blonde, his caption reading, "Finally made it official with this one, lucked out." The post is dated 3 days after our first lunch, while he was still texting me and meeting me for drinks. While I was still imagining some alternate universe where we reconnected and made Brandon jealous. I lean against my car, sudden tears blurring my vision. All this time, I'd been a game to Ethan. Nothing more. And I'd thrown away my marriage for... what? A fantasy. A selfie that meant nothing to him and everything to Brandon. August 29th, 2024. I'm standing in the empty living room of what used to be our house. The closing was yesterday, and I'm here for one final walkthrough before handing over the keys. The new owners move in tomorrow. A young couple, expecting their first child, excited to start their life in this space where mine fell apart. The house echoes with my footsteps as I move from room to room. In the dining room, I remember holiday dinners with friends, Brandon carving the turkey he'd spent hours cooking to perfection. In the living room, movie nights where he'd let me choose the film even though my taste ran to romantic comedies he secretly hated. I wander to the backyard, now stripped of the furniture and plants that made it ours. The pond remains, the water lilies Brandon planted still blooming defiantly against the coming fall. I think I never deserved any of this. I never deserved him. My phone buzzes in my pocket, a text from Simone reminding me to pick up milk on my way to her place. My temporary refuge has stretched into months now, my sister's patience wearing thin as I struggle to find my footing in this new, Brandon-less reality. As I turn to leave, something catches my eye. A small, smooth stone half buried near the pond's edge. I kneel and pick it up, recognizing it immediately. A heart-shaped rock Brandon found on our honeymoon, which he placed here when he built the pond, a secret symbol of his love. I hold it in my palm, the weight of it heavy with meaning. He must have forgotten it. Or perhaps he left it behind deliberately, shedding the last physical reminder of us. On impulse, I slip it into my pocket. One small piece of what we were, what I carelessly destroyed. Back in my car, I check my phone one last time before driving away. A notification from a local news app catches my eye. Local businessman engaged, Brandon Wilson, newly appointed CEO of Meridian Technologies, announced his engagement to Harvard Business School graduate Elena Vasquez yesterday at a charity gala. I don't read further, my vision blurring with tears. 3 months. It took him just 3 months to find someone new, someone worthy of the love I rejected. I start the car, the stone heavy in my pocket, and drive away from the house, the neighborhood, the life I sabotaged with my own hands. Now, sitting in my tiny apartment on the outskirts of town, all I can afford on my new entry-level salary, I scroll through social media, a masochistic habit I can't seem to break. Brandon's accounts remain closed to me, but I see glimpses of his new life through mutual friends' posts. Brandon at a company dinner, looking sharp in a suit I don't recognize. Brandon and his fiancée Alina at a charity run. Brandon laughing with friends at a rooftop bar I've never been to. In each image, he glows with a happiness I never saw when he was with me. A happiness I now realize I actively diminished with my constant belittling, my searching eyes, my restless dissatisfaction. Meanwhile, Ethan's profile shows him with various women, none for more than a few posts. The man I once thought was the one who got away revealed himself to be exactly what Brandon always quietly suspected. A player who saw me as nothing more than a conquest, an ego boost, a way to prove he still had power over me. I close the app and look around my sparse apartment. A far cry from the beautiful home Brandon and I shared, from the life we might have built if I'd recognized the treasure I held instead of chasing fool's gold. On my nightstand sits the heart-shaped stone, my only souvenir from a marriage I dismantled with 1,000 small cuts, culminating in a selfie that wasn't just a selfie, but the final evidence that I never truly valued the man who loved me most. I've lost Brandon forever, lost the respect of friends who saw how I treated him, lost the comfortable life we built together, all because I thought a selfie with my ex wasn't a big deal. It turns out it wasn't. It was everything.